Welcome to Plot Twist, your place for quick summaries of movies with jaw-dropping twists. Let's dive in. The story tells of a devil who makes a contract with a human, giving him extraordinary powers in exchange for his soul. The devil then sends the human to retrieve a specific contract, but the human betrays him and escapes. Many years pass, and we see Johnny and his father working together, performing thrilling motorcycle stunts through fire. During one of the performances, Johnny gets distracted by his girlfriend, nearly falling, but manages to recover. His father scolds him, warning that if he gets hurt or paralyzed, his girlfriend won't stand by him, urging him to focus on his goals. After the show, Johnny meets his girlfriend, and they go to a quiet place to talk. They deeply love each other and wish to get married. But her father thinks Johnny is too young, reckless, and irresponsible. Johnny tells her he won't let anyone separate them and suggests they run away together the next day to start a life elsewhere. She agrees and they plan to meet the following day. Johnny then goes home, where he finds his father drunk and asleep on the couch. He notices medical reports revealing that his father has advanced cancer and doesn't have much time left. Johnny is torn between running away with his girlfriend or staying by his father's side during his final days. Distraught, he leaves the house and works on his motorcycle. While working on the bike, a mysterious figure approaches him. It's the devil, Mephisto. The devil praises Johnny's performances and says he's been looking for someone like him. He offers Johnny a deal. In exchange for his soul, the devil will cure his father. Johnny laughs, thinking it's a joke, but the devil insists he's serious. Johnny reluctantly signs the contract, accidentally pricking his finger and sealing the deal with a drop of blood. The devil assures him his father will be fine, and Johnny goes to sleep. The next morning, Johnny finds his father healthy and cancer-free. Overjoyed, his father prepares for their next show. However, Johnny decides to leave with his girlfriend, determined to prove he's responsible. His father reluctantly agrees, giving him the keys to his best motorcycle and wishing him a happy life. Later, during a performance, Johnny's father rides alone, but the devil intervenes, causing an accident that kills him. Johnny, who hadn't left yet, rushes to his father's side but can't save him. He sees the devil nearby, realizing he's responsible for his father's death. Furious, Johnny rides his motorcycle through the city in anger and grief. The devil appears to Johnny, explaining that although he cured his father's cancer, the accident was necessary to keep Johnny focused on their agreement. The devil declares that Johnny now belongs to him and will fulfill his tasks. He warns Johnny to forget everyone he loves and disappears. Heartbroken, Johnny decides to leave his girlfriend to protect her from danger. Years pass, and Johnny becomes the world's greatest motorcycle stunt performer, executing impossible stunts. However, memories of his deal with the devil haunt him, causing him to falter during a performance. Despite falling, Johnny remains unharmed due to his supernatural powers. Shows and all the media says that he is the best show performer of all time, but they also say that he could kill himself in any of these shows because what he does is dangerous and no one knows how to do it. So Johnny says to them, "You haven't seen anything yet," and he tells the assistants that the next show will be jumping from goal to goal in a football field. So he says to him, "How are you not afraid for yourself? And how, when you fall like this, you get up safe, even though the suit you are wearing is not protective? I mean, to that extent." So he tells them that he is just a lucky person. Meanwhile, the devil's son, Blackheart, emerges from the depths of hell, seeking to enter to a nightclub, but the guard prevents him. But Blackheart demonstrates his immense power by killing a security guard with a mere touch. And John and his friend reaches his home, and he puts his motorcycle in the middle of the fleet of motorcycles that he has, and his friend says to him, "The show that you want to present next time is dangerous. You will jump from goal to goal, and also you will put a lot of cars under you. If you fall, you will die. What exactly do you want to prove? You are the best of all time." So he tells him that he is punishing himself. So he tells him that your father's death was not your responsibility. It was an accident and fate. He tells him, "Promise me that you will remove the cars so that if they fall, even the slightest, they will fall on the grass and nothing will happen to you." So he tells him, "I promise you that he removes her, but he thinks in his mind that he is putting something else in its place that will be more dangerous." As for Blackheart, he enters this bar and around all the, he enters this bar and around all the people in it into bones. And there is a girl who will be hiding and terrified. So he grabs her and makes this comment and tells her that he smelled her brother's scent and that he feeds on this fear in the first place, and that he will save her too and she will die. And after that, he will invite these devils and those who are his followers. They ask him for the identity of his return from hell, so he tells them the contract that he took a long time ago from his father and escaped with. It is buried in a cemetery near here. I want this contract because then I will take full power and rule hell and this world as well, and I will still destroy my father. But at this moment, the devil comes and the one who calls for him appears and says to him, "What are you doing here? This is not your place. Go away." He tells him, "No, this era is modern and utensils. You have grown up now and should rest, and I will control this world." Then Blackheart says to him, "Your time will come, but not now." Then Blackheart says to him, "You are stronger in hell, but I am stronger here." Then Blackheart says to him, "But you are not stronger than my Ghost Rider." Then Blackheart gets very angry and says to him, "You put your strength and the strength of hell in a weak human. You are supposed to give this strength to me, not to go and give it to a human. I will finish him off." Then he says, "We will see." And he gets angry from the heart of the place. Back in Johnny's world, he continues to perform dangerous stunts, hiding the truth about his powers. The stage is set for a confrontation between Johnny, the devil, and Blackheart as the story unfolds into a battle of wills and supernatural forces. Johnny. The stands were literally packed with people and completely full to witness the historic performance, but his friend also told him it was dangerous and that he didn't have to do it. He could cancel the show and leave. But Johnny said no, he would do it and succeed. His friend responded, "I know I can't stop you," and left the place. They gathered with the press to conduct an interview, and during the interview, he invited her to watch his performance. But she declined, saying she had work to do and had to leave immediately. She walked out of the place, but Johnny was very happy and smiled for the first time in years because he kept remembering all the sweet moments he had with her. He then went on to perform his show, feeling joyful. He started his motorcycle, and his friend told him he was glad he removed the cars because if he fell on the grass, nothing serious would happen. Johnny told him to just watch, and he brought helicopters with their blades still spinning to jump over them. He explained that this was his father's idea from long ago, and now he was going to execute it. Johnny began his performance, jumping from an extremely high altitude. The jump was astonishing and covered an incredible distance. This time he landed safely, and the show was a success. It was literally a historic performance. His friend in the crowd cheered for him, but at that moment, Johnny remembered Roxanne. He immediately ran out of the place and chased after her until he caught up with her. However, she refused to talk to him and told her driver to leave, but Johnny didn't give up. He sped up, maneuvered skillfully in front of her car, and stopped them. She got out of the car furious and told him he was crazy and that they almost ran him over. He replied, "It's worth it for you." She told him she understood and forgave him for what happened with her father in the past, even though it had caused her fear and pain. She admitted that she thought of him every day and even imagined him in the audience during her performances. Johnny invited her to dinner, proposing they go on a date the next day. She agreed, and he left the place, returning home to prepare himself. At that moment, he noticed his hands glowing and emitting steam, unsure of what was happening. Meanwhile, Roxanne waited at the restaurant for hours, drinking heavily. Johnny heard his motorcycle starting on its own and went to check, only to find a mysterious figure in a suit confronting him. The man told Johnny not to approach him, or he would harm him. Johnny replied that he had always been by his side, protecting him during his performances and providing him with strength. The man reminded Johnny of the contract he had signed years ago and said it was time to fulfill his part of the deal. He revealed that there was someone named Blackheart whom Johnny needed to find and kill. Johnny refused, but the man insisted, saying it wasn't a choice. He struck the ground with his staff, causing Johnny's motorcycle to speed off on its own at an incredible pace. As it sped, the ground beneath it burned and was destroyed. Meanwhile, Blackheart and his followers arrived at an old cemetery where the contract was supposedly kept, only to find it had been moved years ago. They questioned someone about its location, but he didn't know, so they killed him. Johnny, on the other hand, found himself at a specific location where his motorcycle stopped. Suddenly, he began to emit smoke and flames, transforming into the Ghost Rider. Blackheart appeared and greeted him, but Johnny told him to return to hell before attacking him. Blackheart's followers tried to fight Johnny, but he overpowered them, using his chain to defeat them one by one. His powers were extraordinary, and he even set his motorcycle ablaze to match his fiery persona. Blackheart, frightened by Johnny's strength, fled. Meanwhile, Roxanne was still at the restaurant, upset that Johnny had stood her up again. Johnny, now fully transformed, rode his motorcycle through the city, encountering a thief who was about to harm a woman. He stopped the thief, pointed at him and said, "You're guilty." Johnny then forced the thief to look into his eyes, making him feel the pain of all his victims until he died from fear. As the sun rose, Johnny returned to his normal self. He visited the cemetery where his father was buried and met the caretaker, who seemed to know about Johnny's transformation. The caretaker explained that Johnny was now the devil's bounty hunter and that he would be normal during the day, but transform into the Ghost Rider at night. He also told Johnny that as long as evil existed in the world, he would remain the Ghost Rider. The caretaker revealed that there had been other Ghost Riders before Johnny and encouraged him to accept his new reality. Johnny left the cemetery and went to see Roxanne, finding the streets destroyed by his fiery motorcycle. He tried to talk to her, but she was furious and upset with him. Not up to the responsibility like you are. He falls to the ground with the motorcycle, and when they look at it, they realize it belongs to Johnny. Johnny immediately leaves the place and returns to his home, standing in front of the mirror, trying to transform but failing. So he starts collecting numerous books about the subject, magic, demons, and similar things, learning how to control fire. Afterward, he experiments on himself, finding success as he ignites himself. At that moment, Roxanne comes to him, apologizing for what she had said earlier and informing him that she plans to leave town. She begins looking around the house, reminiscing over old pictures of them together, which makes her happy. However, she confronts him, asking, "I don't understand you, how you want to come back and how you escape from..." He responds, "If I tell you, you won't believe me." She challenges him to try, and he admits that he sold his soul to the devil, explaining everything about the contract and what happened to him. He reveals that he did it to protect her, but she doesn't believe him and decides to leave, saying she won't return. She walks out immediately. At that moment, the police arrive and arrest Johnny to interrogate him, saying that his motorcycle tires were found on the streets, and witnesses claimed a person controlling fire was involved. They mention it's the same fire as seen in his fights. When the officer tries to light a cigarette, Johnny controls the fire and extinguishes it. Johnny denies any knowledge of the matter, but they insist he stay with them for questioning. They take him to a holding cell, where he starts showing signs of transformation, warning them to let him go for their own good. However, they lock him up. In the cell, the other inmates gang up on him, attacking him, but he transforms into Ghost Rider, overpowering them all effortlessly. Before leaving, he looks at an innocent boy in the cell, tells him he's innocent, melts the bars, and escapes quietly. He summons his motorcycle, which also transforms, and encounters the officer again, who attempts to shoot fire at him but fails to harm him. Johnny gestures no and leaves without retaliating. Johnny heads to a church where Blackheart is searching for a specific person but fails to find them, killing someone there instead. Meanwhile, the police continue to chase Johnny through the streets. Despite their efforts, Johnny, riding fast, evades capture. He jumps off a bridge into the water, emerging with his motorcycle to ride on the surface. The police are astonished by this entity. Johnny then confronts Blackheart at his location, fighting off his men, who are powerless against him. The police return to chase him through the city, but he escapes, scaling a building with his motorcycle. At this moment, Roxanne sees him and realizes he was telling the truth. As he ascends the building, a helicopter tries to attack him with fire. Frustrated, Johnny grabs his chain, throws it, and destroys the helicopter before leaving the scene. Blackheart tries to capture Johnny but fails, unable to harm him. Johnny uses his chain to create a whirlwind, defeating Blackheart's men. He jumps off the building. On his motorcycle, speeding away to meet Roxanne. However, the police shoot at him again, but he remains unaffected and escapes, enjoying their failed attempts. Blackheart, observing from a building, continues to monitor Johnny. The following day, Johnny visits a cemetery and meets an old man, asking when it will all end. The old man tells him that once he kills Blackheart, the contract will be over, and he will return to normal. Meanwhile, Roxanne is questioned by the police about Johnny and is urged to help them locate him. The old man tells Johnny about a person who was once sentenced to death but made a deal with the devil, becoming a Ghost Rider tasked with finding a specific contract for the devil. However, upon discovering the contract's immense power, the man refused to hand it over. The old man advises Johnny to stay away from those he loves to protect them. Roxanne visits Johnny's friend, asking about his whereabouts, but he doesn't know. She finds books that Johnny had been studying, realizing their significance. Meanwhile, Blackheart reaches the cemetery, mocking Johnny, claiming it won't protect him. Blackheart declares himself invincible with no weaknesses, overpowering Johnny. He kills Johnny's friend, and when Johnny arrives, he finds Roxanne injured. She points towards Blackheart, prompting Johnny to transform into Ghost Rider. Johnny confronts Blackheart, who laughs maniacally, claiming Johnny's powers won't affect him because he has no soul. Blackheart transforms into a terrifying monster, and Roxanne tries to help Johnny by shooting at Blackheart, but it has no effect. Johnny, as Ghost Rider, speaks to the spirits within Blackheart, forcing him to confront all the crimes he committed. Since Blackheart is now filled with souls, Johnny's method succeeds, and Blackheart burns to ash, finally defeated. Johnny returns to his human form, and Roxanne checks on him. Suddenly, the devil appears, praising Johnny for completing the task and offering to take back his powers, freeing him. However, Johnny refuses, choosing to keep his powers to use them against the devil and avenge his father's death. The devil, enraged, warns Johnny that he will regret his decision before disappearing. Johnny and Roxanne go to the place where they were supposed to meet long ago. Johnny, overwhelmed with emotion, and tells her without him she will be safe, and he immediately leaves the place, and many years pass after this situation, and we see a person named Moro who goes to a priest and tells him that they found the child that the devil wants. So Moro tells him that this child will be safe with the Ghost Rider, but the priest tells him that there are only a few days left until the prophecy for the devil to be able to transfer his consciousness to the body of this child. And suddenly a gang and their leader, called Black, attacks them, and they are the ones who have become the devil, and they are looking for this child. And after that, we see the child is the one who runs away with his mother, and they run after them, and he keeps hitting this gang, and the gang keeps after them as well. So his father eggs, and they flip him off the bridge, but he flips their cars. We go to Johnny, who is dreaming about his story, that he died, meaning sitting with the devil and the ghost who feeds on people's souls and things like that. And at that moment, he hears someone coming towards him, and the one who follows him grabs him. He is angry and confronts him, asking, "Who are you?" To help you. He tells him to leave immediately. Nora and Johnny are scared. He tells him, "The ghost inside you doesn't like the light, right?" He starts telling him, "You can't control yourself," which makes Johnny angry again. He tells him, "You must leave." He responds, "I can help you and bring your soul back so you can be normal again. There's a boy we need to save before the devil takes over his body. If that happens, he'll control the world. You need to reach him. If you do, I'll lift the curse from you and return you to being a normal human being." He goes to the child and tells him about Nadia. They are in a cave but sense the gang approaching and run away. A woman is among them, and they keep running. Johnny confronts the ghost to prevent a transformation, and Nadia and her son are attacked. Johnny senses them, sees Moro, and feels himself being drawn in. He hears a sound, lights a cigarette, but the fire is drawn away. He hears a voice and runs to see what's happening. He finds Sean turning into Ghost Rider and leaving the place immediately. Nadia tries to fight the gang with fire, but is captured. Black is about to kill her when she pleads, but Ghost Rider arrives at the last moment and rescues her. They shoot at him, but he retaliates, destroying one of them. He grabs another and tells him, "Look into my eyes and see everything you've done." At that moment, a drop of blood from the child weakens Johnny significantly. They shoot him and throw him out of the place, taking the child and escaping. The next day, Johnny wakes up in the hospital, finding his injuries healed as usual, but still feeling their effects. He tries to leave the hospital unnoticed and encounters Nadia, who panics and runs away upon seeing him. He senses there's something behind her actions and follows her. Now let's shift to the devil. Black tells him that a strange figure appeared, engulfed in flames, but they barely escaped. He's surprised that Ghost Rider has returned. He orders the phone connection to the boy and casts a spell to protect him from Ghost Rider. He tells them to watch over the boy until the day of prophecy arrives. Meanwhile, Johnny keeps following Nadia, who threatens him with a gun, asking if he's the devil too. He denies it, saying he wants to help her son, which would also help himself. He attempts to track the boy, but realizes something is blocking him. Nadia agrees to cooperate with him. She tells him about Black, who once threw her off a building. The devil appeared to her before she died, offering to heal her in exchange for her son's soul. She agreed, and she was restored to normal. She begins explaining about Vasto, who transfers from body to body over the years, but is weak on Earth, which is why he makes contracts with humans to fulfill his desires. The child, with Black's gang, tries to mislead them and uses his powers to flip a car. Black escapes with the boy and hijacks another car to flee. Johnny learns that when he transforms, he loses control and destroys everything. They go to a specific place, trying to figure out where the boy is, which angers Johnny, almost causing another transformation. The boy fears him and tells him the location. Men attack them, and they try to escape, but Johnny transforms into the monster, grabs his motorcycle, and frightens them. He demands to know the location, and they flee. Later, the gang prepares weapons to confront Ghost Rider. Nadia finds her son, frees him, and tries to escape, but one of the gang members attacks her. She fights him off, eventually killing him with fire. At that moment, the gang hears Ghost Rider approaching, readying their weapons and firing a missile at him, thinking they've defeated him. But he reappears, attacking and destroying them with his chains. One man shoots at him, but Ghost Rider deflects the bullets and retaliates. He's hit with a bomb, but survives, climbing a crane and using it to destroy them. He then grabs the child, who runs away, but is eventually caught. Nadia intervenes, and Ghost Rider tells her to look into his eyes and see what she's done. The child pleads for her release, and Ghost Rider reverts to his human form. The next day, the child watches a man with his son. Johnny approaches, realizing he's missed that feeling. He treats the boy kindly, promising to help him and never leave him alone. The boy thanks him, calling him good. Nadia sees Johnny drinking heavily, explaining that he becomes very thirsty after transforming. He tells her they must protect the child until the prophecy passes, after which he'll be safe. The devil arrives at the scene of the incident, finding Black before his death. He tells him, "You're not dying yet. There's still a deal between us." He gives him strength, removes the rubble, and transforms him into a terrifying figure. Anything he touches disintegrates. He tests this on a paramedic, who vanishes instantly. The devil tells him, "You're no longer weak like before. Fulfill your deal. I want the child." Meanwhile, the boy asks Johnny how his motorcycle transforms. Johnny explains that anything the ghost touches changes and becomes part of his curse. He says that he uses this power for people, not for personal purposes. And after that, Moro and Johnny take the child on the motorcycle like this, and he drives on one wheel, and he is very happy with it and black coat. He cannot eat anything, and anything he touches decomposes immediately. Then Moro, Johnny, and the child arrive at a place where there are priests, so they can hide there. He leaves the child with the priests and goes to stay with Moro to remove the curse from him, as he told him. Juno reassures the child and tells him that it will be fine. He leaves and enters with Moro and tells him what will happen now. He tells him that the first time was in an angel. He protects people to the point that I am deceived and drawn to the belly of the earth, and then I become filled with hatred and turn into a vengeful person. You will find out from anyone who has evil, and this is the ghost that is inside you now. He says to him, "Is the good side still present inside him?" He says to him, "Yes, but it is blocked," and tells him that the matter is not easy. You can die in it, and asks him to confess to him a secret that no one knows except him. So he tells him that he made a pact with the devil so that he was not able to stay away from his father. But he was deceived and died, and after that he enters the place where he will be treated, and Johnny begins. He screams loudly and is in pain while he remembers his entire life, and his appearance starts to change until he loses consciousness. And when he wakes up again, he finds himself back to normal. And they are very happy with this, and he keeps running in the middle of the place. And he says that the thing was successful, but he doesn't find anyone in the place. So he keeps running quickly and looking for the boy. And at that moment, we see the priest holding him. So he runs to free him, but they catch him and tell him that the danger will remain. As long as this boy is here, we have to kill him, and they take him to finish him off. But before they do that, Blackcoat arrives, and he keeps killing them one after the other until he catches this priest and finishes him off too. And he goes to the boy and says to him, "You must be happy that I saved you," and he takes him and leave the place quickly. But when Nadia and Johnny arrive, they find the boy missing. Moro reveals that the devil must have taken him to transfer his consciousness into the boy. Johnny realizes there's still time to save him, promising not to abandon the child. Black delivers the boy to the devil, and Moro identifies the ritual site, preparing weapons for the confrontation. The devil tells the boy he's the perfect vessel for his ghost, a mere signature away from the contract. Nadia and Johnny arrive at the devil's location, finding all the country's leaders, who are his followers. The devil addresses them, declaring that once his consciousness is transferred to the boy, they will control the whole world and no one will be able to stop them. Then the rituals begin. Nadia tells Johnny that this is the only good thing in her life and that she doesn't want to lose it, meaning her son. Johnny and Moro go and attack the devil's men. Nadia from a distance holds a sniper and starts taking them out one by one. Moro tells Johnny, "When you take the child, run immediately and don't stop. I'll try to hold them off until you escape." Moro then goes and shoots at them. Johnny reaches the place of the rituals, where the connection between the devil and the boy has begun. Moro arrives and stands in the ritual circle. Johnny enters, fights, and shoots fire at them. Johnny tries to grab the boy but can't because the devil's power prevents him. At that moment, the devil is struck and flies away. Moro arrives and grabs the boy, who starts to fade away. Moro goes to Johnny and grabs him to kill him. When he sees the boy, he becomes very angry. He tells him, "Snap out of it, this isn't you." At that moment, the boy asks the devil, "You gave me your power, right?" The devil replies, "Yes." The boy immediately runs to Johnny and breathes fire into him, restoring his powers. Johnny begins to transform again, and even his motorcycle transforms. He gets up and starts destroying all of the devil's men one by one. Honestly, he becomes very strong, and no one can stop him at all. He kills them all. At that moment, the devil takes the boy and tries to escape. Johnny chases him on his motorcycle and keeps pursuing him. This time, he is also able to transform during the day. He keeps shooting fire at him, but the devil jumps into a car, destroying it. Nadia also chases after them, but Blackout attacks her and breaks the glass. Before he kills her, Ghost Rider throws his chain at him, pulls him back, and starts beating him. He grabs him and says, "Look into my eyes and see all that you have done," and kills him. He throws him off the car, goes back to his motorcycle, gets on it, and continues chasing the devil. The chase lasts a very long time until Johnny hits the devil's car with his chain, flipping it over. He gets off his motorcycle, approaches the devil, and grabs him. The devil says, "You are the worst deal I ever made in my life." Johnny ties him up with his chain, throws him into the air, slams him to the ground, and buries him deep into the earth, destroying him and ending his evil. Afterward, Johnny takes the child, and Nadia also arrives at the scene. Johnny returns to his normal form and tells Nadia that Moro said the monster was an angel, and he feels its power now. This time, Johnny is able to control the monster within him and remain conscious when he transforms, unlike before. The boy gets up again and tells Johnny, "We won." They all feel very happy, and that was the end of